So which is better, bike flights or flying with your bike via the post-carry transfer case? We're here in Los Angeles and we've shipped our bikes 2 different ways, and we're going to go over the pros and cons of using bike flights or traveling with your bike with a case like this one. Laura shipped her bike here in advance. Let's talk to her real quick and see what she thinks.
So I shipped my bike via Bikeflights. This is the box. If you look at the outside, you'll see that there's a few little punctures and some gashes. When you look inside, you'll notice that some of those are due to our choice of how we stuffed things in here. Probably should have put the handlebars in a different way so the shifter didn't poke through, the axle popped through right there, a couple of things like that. Because it's a very large box, there's plenty of space for things to shuffle around in here, so that definitely happened. Everything looks fine, but I guess we'll find out once we take it out. Pros and cons. One of the big pros is that you don't have to drag it with you when you go to the airport. So whether you're taking public transit or you're taking an Uber or you don't know how you're getting back and forth between the airport, you just don't have to deal with it. Another pro, you don't have to be nearly as conscious of weight. So we stuffed panniers and a little bit of extra stuff in here, and that was great. Con, you obviously have to be better at packing than maybe we were. Because it is going to get rattled around in a shipping truck somewhere and sort of handed off from shipper to shipper. Possible con is that you do really have to plan ahead. So, Bikeflights is very reasonably priced if you're shipping ground, and you make sure that you have enough time for it to get there ground. Overnight, 2-day, those are really expensive. I think let's not do the $500 overnight. Comes to just under $55. And then obviously you have to have a place for it to be delivered to. So, that was easy for us coming out here because we could just ship it to Russ's folks. But, if you're going someplace where you're staying in a hotel, they have to be able to accept it, that sort of thing. Another pro, I didn't have to dismantle my bike as much as Russ did. So there's that. It will be hopefully faster to put mine together.
How did the transfer case do? Check-in was relatively easy. Again, we flew Alaska, so it was only $25, even though it was a bike. I did have to hand it over to TSA, and they inspected it and everything. And so far, just on the exterior of the case, the wheels are still there. There's no visible holes poking out of the bag, which is good. And let's open her up. It's a bicycle! Yay! So everything's here. It's, again, it's hard to tell if anything got bent or not just now, but so far so good. The thing I was most concerned about was how well it would protect the wheel, because that would take the brunt of the impact. Carbon loaner wheels. Still round. Hubs are still there. No broken spokes. Awesome. The pros and cons for the transfer case. I think it's super convenient to have the bike with you. Logistically, it's a lot easier than finding a place to ship the bike, box, and then intercepting and all that stuff. So it's always with you. Another big pro of this case in particular is that it's smaller. You guys saw in the video, we were able to put it in the back of a compact car. So let's say if there were 2 of you and you're flying with 2 of these cases, you don't have to get a big truck or a van. You can just get typical sedan or whatever. So that's another big pro. If you're flying with the bike via a carrier like Alaska, it's only going to cost you $25, which is actually less than shipping. In terms of cons, there is a bigger upfront investment. This case, I believe, is $400. You kind of have to decide for yourself if it's worth the investment. Another con is you have to be fairly comfortable disassembling the bike. I know when you look in the case, it's kind of scary when it's like this, but if you practice it once or twice, it's actually not as bad as you think. Some bikes are easier than others to pack in here. If you have a bike with internal routing or hydraulic disc brakes, all that stuff adds complication. So with the Velo Orange, it was pretty simple because everything was externally routed. Nothing too fancy, so it broke down pretty easily. Another con is, you do have to check into airports, so you have to be comfortable doing that. And if you're flying with an airline that's not bike friendly, then you have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable stretching the truth just a little bit of mental anguish in the process, but not too much. I think that's about it. I think it's, overall, I was pleasantly surprised with how easy this was to pack up in terms of check-in. and I'm very excited to see that, you know, everything appears to be in one piece or in several pieces, but still a bike. I think it definitely fared a lot better than Laura's box. Tell me what you guys think. Which one would you guys prefer, Bikeflights or traveling with your bike via a case? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions about either of these methods, leave those in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. And as always, keep the supple side down.